Look around long enough and you'll begin to see it. A silent epidemic, not of illness or ignorance, but of psychological instability. People unravel over the smallest criticisms. They spiral from the pressure of judgment. They chase approval, outrun shame, and mold themselves into palatable versions of who they think they should be. We've advanced in nearly every measurable way: technology, medicine, communication. Yet emotionally and mentally, most are fragile, not by accident, but because no one ever taught them how to be sovereign in their own minds. But every so often you encounter someone different. They don't flinch under pressure. They don't overreact when challenged. They seem to move through chaos with calm, hold themselves with weight, and see through manipulation like it's made of glass. You can't push their buttons, not because they don't have any, but because they've taken control of the panel. These people are rare, and their strength seems mystical. But it's not. Their secret lies in an internal process, something ancient, something buried under layers of distraction and noise. This process is not taught in schools. It won't be found in self-help slogans. But philosophers from every era have hinted at it. It is the art of reclaiming your inner sovereignty, of no longer being ruled by unconscious fears, desires, and projections. Most people believe they are in control of their thoughts. They aren't. They are possessed by them, pulled into mental loops, hijacked by emotion, reactive to the environment like a puppet dancing on invisible strings. An offhand comment ruins their day. A social post ignites their anger. A moment of rejection defines their self-worth. Why? Because they don't respond to reality. They respond to unconscious meaning they've assigned to reality. Meaning constructed not through wisdom, but through wounds, unhealed memories, social conditioning, and unresolved inner conflicts. This is how people become externally programmable, triggered not by truth, but by personal mythologies they've never examined. And here's the terrifying part. Until you reclaim your unconscious material, you remain emotionally predictable. Anyone with the right words can hijack your sense of self. Anyone who mirrors your insecurity can control your behavior. This is the opposite of sovereignty. But there's a way out. A path few walk because it requires brutal honesty. A mirror held up to the ego, not to punish it, but to liberate it. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." True internal mastery doesn't come from suppressing weakness. It comes from understanding it. It begins with this realization. The parts of yourself you reject the most are the parts that control you the most. The more you deny your fear, the more it rules your decisions. The more you pretend you're never jealous, the more jealousy dictates your judgments. The more you say, "I'm not angry," the more your anger leaks out in sarcasm, passive aggression, and tension. What you resist does not disappear. It festers until you turn toward it. And that's where the transformation begins. Carl Jung called it shadow work, the lifelong process of facing and integrating the unconscious parts of the psyche. Not to become perfect, but to become whole. The shadow is not just a container for bad traits. It's the sum total of every truth about yourself you weren't allowed to express. Maybe you were taught as a child that expressing confidence made you arrogant, so now you downplay yourself and sabotage your potential. Confidence became shadow, or perhaps you were punished for showing emotion, so now you walk through life numb, disconnected, unable to form real intimacy. Vulnerability became shadow. The shadow isn't evil, it's exiled, and integration is the act of inviting it back in, consciously, courageously. But why don't more people do this? Because it's painful. It disrupts the ego's illusion that I am good, they are bad. It challenges your self-image. It dismantles the stories you've used to justify your pain. It's much easier to stay asleep, to blame others, to repeat inherited patterns, to call every criticism toxic, every discomfort trauma, and every mirror abuse. But avoidance comes at a cost. The more shadow you repress, the more others can use it against you. Manipulators don't need power, they just need your unexamined fears. So what does psychological sovereignty actually look like? You don't flinch at judgment because you've judged yourself honestly already. You don't chase validation because you've validated the parts of you others rejected. You don't need constant agreement because you've integrated your own contradictions. You become less reactive, more reflective. Someone insults you. You pause. Is this true? If yes, you've already faced it. If not, it doesn't land. Someone tries to manipulate you. You see through it because you understand their projection and your own. Someone pushes your buttons. You smile. You've rewired the system. This is not indifference. It's clarity, and it's what freedom feels like. So how do you begin? Start small. Notice when you overreact. Don't justify it. Study it. Ask yourself, what in me is being touched right now? Then sit with it. Not to punish, not to fix, but to understand. Write. Reflect. Speak the truth you've never dared say, at least to yourself. Forgive the parts of you you've spent years trying to bury. And slowly, something miraculous happens. You stop being ashamed of your flaws. You stop fearing your humanity. You stop reacting to projections and start responding to life. You stop being programmable. You become unshakable. Most people will never walk this path. It's easier to live as a character than as a complex human. But for those willing to go inward, to reclaim what was hidden, there is a quiet power waiting, a strength that doesn't shout, a clarity that doesn't waver, and a sovereignty no one can give or take. If this message resonated with you, subscribe, not for me, for you. Because the path to becoming untouchable begins with a single act, turning inward.